I heard this week that President Trump said I had the right to overturn the election. But President Trump is wrong. I had no right to overturn the election. The presidency belongs to the American people and the American people alone. And frankly, there is no idea more un-American than the notion that any one person could choose the American president. Under the Constitution, I had no right to change the outcome of our election.
Well, it took over a year, but today Mike Pence finally rebuked Donald Trump in the strongest terms we have seen, although, like Congressman Raskin pointed out, on a somewhat narrow technical point. But that comes on the same day the Republican Party has taken the most forceful steps in the opposite direction to endorse, essentially, the sacking of the U.S. Capitol and censure those who would seek to investigate the coup plot, all but declaring itself the party of insurrection, a party that has no place for the likes of Mike Pence. Michael Steele is the former chairman of the Republican National Committee, and Olivia Troy is the former Homeland Security and Counterterrorism advisor to Vice President Mike Pence, and they both join me now. Olivia, let me start with you because you worked with the former vice president. Your reaction to that speech today?
Hey, look, I've got to say it out loud. I have been waiting for this moment. Look, I'm proud of him. I have been wanting for him to take a stand against Donald Trump. And look, I was shocked, I will say this, to hear him finally say Donald Trump is wrong. I have never, in my entire tenure of working for the vice president, have heard him ever say those words, especially publicly. And so I think that was a big step for him. And I realized, he did the right thing on January 6th, and he's finally doing the right thing now by just calling it out. But there's a whole group of voters out there who are listening to this, especially who lean on the Republican side, who needed to hear this directly from him.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how this will reverberate, particularly on the day, Michael, when the RNC passed that resolution. I got to say, you ran the RNC. You were the head of the RNC about a decade ago. First of all, who are these people? Just because I was thinking there. Well, no, seriously, because I've been to a lot of conventions, and I've covered conventions, and I met committee members through the years as a political reporter, and it's always a kind of interesting mix. You got some donors, you got sort of local politicians, or someone who's in the state senate for 20 years, in Wyoming, or these different sort of figures. What is the nature of the official body of the Republican Party such that they could produce this document today?
Well, the nature of the body is comprised of 168 members who are the national committee man and woman and the chairman of the 50 states and our territories. They represent the activist part of the party. They're closest to the grassroots of the party. A lot of them, like myself, were county chairmen before becoming state chairman, and so they've played as a role. They're a cross mix of fundraisers, a cross mix of activists, women who have been involved in the Republican Federation of Women, an incredible group of hardworking women within the party. So that's been the mainstay, Chris. Those are the activist roots of the party that are represented by these men and women who sort of move up through those ranks. What is significant about what happened today was you saw the party basically strip itself bare and said, those folks, that side of what we do, of being connected to people around the country who have a variety of views on a lot of issues, right? That these people no longer matter. The only thing that matters is what Donald Trump wants. Our sun rises and our moon, and the sun sets to Donald Trump. Our dollars are raised and spent on behalf of Donald Trump. And so by clearly stating that and giving it context, these members now have moved the party officially. All the stuff up to this point has kind of been the rhetoric and so forth. But now we have officially seen the party embrace insurrection, embrace the big lie. We are now the party of the big lie officially. Yeah. And that will have a profound effect, to Olivia's point, with the vice president coming out and declaratively stating that Donald Trump is wrong about January 6th. So you're going to begin to see some fissures. You're going to see some cracks. There are those of us out who are looking to widen those fissures and cracks. Yeah. And we intend to do that because this is not a space for a governing party to be. And if it can no longer govern, then it should no longer be a legitimate party in this country.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't help but think, Michael, just to follow up that, and I'll come back to you in a second, Olivia, like, when I saw the language, again, I was shocked, and I thought, someone could have taken a pen to this, because there's ways to soft pedal this, there's ways to couch it. It was so revealing to me that McDaniel comes out afterwards and tries to put the clause on the end to try to distinguish between, like, some sort of feint at it. This was so frankly authoritarian. I mean, so just sort of breathtakingly so. It really did, like, feel like a turning point for the party to officially endorse that set of sentences and words.
Well, keep in mind, Chris, we got the watered down version of that sucker.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Dave Bosse, who's the national committee man of Maryland, had written something that was an outright expulsion of Liz and Adam, and a very definitive declarative defiance.
Right. This is the compromise document.
This is the compromise. And whether it's the original or the compromise, it's all designed to please one man.
Yeah.
This is all about Trump reading this and hearing this and seeing this play out the way it has and rubbing his belly and being happy and satisfied. Until Mike Pence, in the midst of all of that, said, "You wrong."
Yeah.
So,
and that's
new drama.
Olivia, I mean, this is the question to me. I mean, it seemed untenable that the Pence stance, which was that we're going to have to agree to disagree on whether I should have been hanged, which was functionally the stance that he was taking for the last year. Like, he said, we'll never see eye to eye on that day. It's like the day that the mob was sent to chase you down and do harm to you. The question is, like, this fight has to happen. Whether it's going to happen or not, I don't know. But it feels like it has to happen. The question is whether Pence has the stomach for it now, or this is like his one entrance and then he just recedes again.
That is a great question. And, I'm wondering what happens tomorrow. Will Pence reverse course? Will he back down? Will he go back to touting this is election integrity based and see, by de facto pushing the big lie in that sense in order to fall back into the good graces of what they believe the base to be? But, I hope that this was a moment where he has decided now is a time where I'm going to make a break, and whoever wants to come with me can come with me. And maybe the Mitt Romneys of the world will continue to back him, and he will fall in line, supporting people like Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger. But, that remains to be seen, because at the end of the day, Mike Pence steps up to the plate, barely steps up, and then backs away from it. And that's because of fear of where this party is today.
Michael Steele and Olivia Troy, that was great. Thank you very much, both of you.